Whoa. Welcome to Ooh. Did I misspeak right there? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer called Sideline Saturdays. If anybody wants to use that name, they're going ahead, but they're going to have to answer to us first, and all of our money greed.
Man, what a problem.
This is a different podcast name. We just came up with this. Mainly Dakota. I give Dakota like 95% credit for that one.
I was in the booth.
Telling you, this podcast is no longer called Sideline Saturdays. Throw that out of your memory. The last 13 episodes, that it's over now. We are on to new episodes. Of course, look back at our content. But this podcast is called Just the Casuals Insight. I'm your host, co-host, Jelani Smith, 20 years old, communications major out of South Suburban College.
Dakota Mitchell's also here with Jelani Smith.
And it's going to be a new change for us. It's not just that we are changing the name. No, this is not that. We're not going from 8 to 24. We're not doing something just as simple as a number change. We are also going to be a little bit more on the creative side with this podcast too. You guys are going to see us really show our creative juices more and flow with this whole thing. We'll have different segments. We're not just going to talk about sports. Well, we will talk about sports still a lot, but we're going to have a lot more fun segments involved with this. A lot more ideas are going to come to our head, and a lot more intrigue and engagement involved with this whole thing, just to get it off the ground a little bit and just to continue to have fun and be more progressive with this whole thing. For today, though, we're going to talk pretty much all of the podcast about Star Snubs, since that's a big thing that's going on. Huge right now in the league. You guys have already heard from Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. If you have not, you can go on Google right now. You can check and see what they said. They felt like they've been disrespected by All-Star voters for not being voted into the All-Star game, as well as Dinwiddie. Jaylen Brown hasn't said anything, has been humble about the whole thing. I've heard Zach LaVine's reaction to it as well. Those guys specifically, I know, are upset about not being able to make the All-Star team with some reason for sure. But we're gonna dig into that. What me and Dakota's thought is on All-Star snubs, and who shouldn't and who should have made the All-Star team, who deserved it, who really didn't deserve it as much as the next guy. Anything you want to really?
Just things are about to get a lot more juicy out there. Think of like zest, like citrus. That's how that. Imagine that when you imagine the podcast now.
Well, we making pasta, some shit. We gonna whip some like we about to whip it in the kitchen or something like that. But just the casuals insight. Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell. We will be right back. Stay tuned with us. All right, we are back on Just the Casuals Insight. We got Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell. And, oh yeah, by the way, casuals, for people that do not know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what a casual is, but pertaining to basketball or some of the stuff that we'll be talking about, a casual is just somebody who, when experts say, oh, he's a casual, or insider, or special insiders, quote unquote, talk about casuals, people that don't know what they're talking about, people that just go with what the media say, people that just go with the flow and what everybody else is saying or what they're watching, and not really studying sports, politics, social issues with a real specificness, a real detail to it. So that's what we say. We're casuals to people like ESPN, to people like FS1, to people like any major sports network. We are the casuals. We are considered people who really don't know what we're talking about. But as you know, if we've listened to our podcast, we ain't really casuals. But it's kind of a play off our name. We are going to be talking about All-Star Snubs. But before we do that, wrong answer. We ain't going to be talking about that first. I want to give a little bit of a book recommendation out, and I'm going to be doing more of that on these episodes. More album reviews, more book reviews. No, we can't do podcast reviews. We are a podcast. We'd be hella grimy.
I mean, you could, but
that would be hella fucking grimy. Ooh, that would be hella fun. That's a lot of clout we'd be getting off that. But anyway, I want to do a book recommendation. I love books. People that know me, I'm an avid book reader. Like I said, one of my favorite players of all time, one of my favorite athletes of all time, really got me into reading books. That is Kobe Bean Bryant. And the book that I've read recently that I've really enjoyed so far, and I think you guys should pick it up, Jay-Z Made in America. And Dakota thought the book was made by Jay-Z.
I wrote Jay-Z. I made a book called Dakota. Like, the man, the myth, the legend. Like, who I think I am.
It's called Jay-Z. That was funny to me. Jay-Z Made in America by Michael Eric Dyson. Michael Eric Dyson is a guy who is very, 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 very passionate. I would love to talk to Michael Eric Dyson one day. If we could ever get him on the show, I would love to have Michael Eric Dyson on one day. But he is a guy that talks a lot about racial issues in America. Mm-hmm. And with this one, he's talking about Jay-Z and kind of his uprising from being a crack dealer to being the first ever billionaire rapper.
Does he get his information like straight from Jay-Z? Like, did he interview Jay-Z?
I think he talked to Jay-Z a little bit, but he went. I don't think the insight is coming straight from Jay-Z, but I think he definitely did talk to Jay-Z. I'm sure he did, and he said he does in this book. He says he does.
When does it? Have you read the whole book?
Almost done.
Okay.
Almost
you know
done.
around when the book ends? As like far as Jay-Z's career, like does it end in 2020, 2019?
2020.
Okay.
2020. So this book came out in 2019, like toward the end of the year. Mm-hmm. This book came out toward the end of the year of 2019. So this is like about as recent as it's gonna get in terms of Jay-Z information. And one of the big things about Michael Lillard Dyson, like I said before, is racial and social issues. He talks a ton about that, and he kind of weaves it in with Jay-Z, like racial and social issues. Mm-hmm. But the main thing about it, I think we can get out of this book for sure, is hustling. Jay-Z went from a crack dealer, like in New York, straight up. A guy who was very...
Millie Rock.
You see what I'm saying? Oh, God. Don't even get started on that shit. Do people still Millie Rock?
Yeah. They just don't... It's like separate from the song. It's just their own thing.
They don't really mention the song in it. That song go hard. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. But Jay-Z, a crack dealer too, the first ever billionaire rapper. And if you guys know rappers aren't really known for being the smartest in terms of investing or their spending habits. So for Jay-Z to be where he is, it's taken lots and lots of hustling. And for people in any profession, it doesn't have to be just rapping. It doesn't have to be serving crack. We don't condone that type of stuff. If you're hustling on the corners, we tell you to get off. But whatever profession, whether you work in the radio business, whether you're a music artist, whether you're a basketball player, football player, baseball player, whether you're working at even if you're working at Walmart or grocery store, a restaurant, whatever, it's all about the idea of hustling and continuing to build for yourself and pursue your highest of high dreams. One thing that Michael Lillard Dyson says in the book that is really, really important is to have a vision and to follow that vision to a motherfucking T. I'm talking about don't have like relentless ambition. Never, ever, ever put a limit on who you are as a person or what you can achieve as a person, because Jay-Z started from the most humblest of humblest beginnings in New York with nothing but drug dealers around and not a lot of great influences to being the type of rapper and being the type of philanthropist and visionary that he is today. And I mean, of course, I know people don't like Jay-Z necessarily, but you got to respect what he's been able to achieve in terms of the money that he's made, the person that he's become, the people that he's helped out in the music business and in the community in general. So really, in terms of what Michael Dyson talks about besides just hustling, he talks about everything with this book, Dakota. He talks about like his feud with Nas, how his feud with Biggie.
Does the whole thing have Jay-Z in a favorable light, or does he talk about?
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing I do want to say about this book. One thing that he does, and I don't want to give away too much of the book, obviously. But one thing in the book that kind of just threw me off was how he talked about Jay-Z as the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I have a problem with that. It was just the way that he came to that answer. It's just like, because Tupac and Biggie are obviously Tupac dying in 96, Biggie dying in 97.
Yeah.
And he was saying how he sold more albums than them. He was in the game. Well, no shit, he was in the game longer than them. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that like kind of blew me a little bit was just the fact that he said that Jay-Z was greater than both of them when both of them died. One died at 25, one died at 24. So it's basically a hypothetical to be playing with, like, what could Tupac have been or Biggie could have been, during that time. I get it. I get what he was going for there, but for them not to be on this earth for the past almost 25 years, I don't think a GOAT conversation or directing that Jay-Z is the GOAT is the right thing to go. Not just even Biggie or Tupac, but Big L died at a very young age. People like that, there are a lot more guys in the rap industry, and it's a sad part of the industry where a lot of young rappers have died. But I just think that in terms of GOAT conversation, I kind of think of it the same way the basketball conversation is done up. Yeah. There is no GOAT because it's just, especially in the rap game, it's a little too much. But he gives his reasons for Jay-Z being the GOAT, and he talks a lot about society. He talked a little bit about Donald Trump. You guys can read in on that if you really want to. He didn't talk too much about Donald Trump, but basically said that he hustles as well, but hustles in a different way that Jay-Z does it. But for anybody that's into racial and social issues or is a big fan of Jay-Z, which I am a pretty big fan of Jay-Z. When I first started listening to Jay-Z, I was not a fan. I was a hater just like everybody else was. But as I listened to his albums and I listened to what he was talking about, I started to realize, like, this dude's a good dude. Not perfect by any means necessary, but he's a pretty good dude. And I like the way he raps. I love his skills, and I love the messages that he brings. So for anybody that is big on any one of those things or just loves to read books in general, this is a great read. It's pretty short. It's about 204 pages. It's not going to take you but a week to finish, or like a week and a half to finish.
Does he ever come at Jay-Z sideways in the book?
Jay-Z side a little bit. I don't want to give too much of that,
Okay.
but he's not completely like just I love Jay-Z. Like, you know, he's not all of it. He admits his faults.
You heard it here first. He gets both sides.
Yeah, he gets both sides of it. He's unbiased. He's unbiased to a way. I just thought that GOAT conversation was a little bit biased. But for the most part, he's very... He admits Jay-Z's own faults, or he tells, like, oh, yeah, he could have done this better, da-da-da-da-da. But for the most part, he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, for anybody that wants to read Jay-Z Made in America by Michael Eric Dyson with a foreword by Pharrell, check out that book. It could be a life changer for some people, and I've learned a ton of lessons from reading this book. And we're going to be doing more book reviews on this show, and album reviews, too, because I love listening to music. But, Jelani Smith...
Dakota Mitchell.
We're going to be right back with you guys on All-Star Snubs in the NBA this year. Stay tuned.
We are back with Jelani Smith and Dakota Mitchell, and just a casual insight. We're going to be talking about the All-Star Snubs today. So, who got snubbed and who didn't? I'm going to say Bradley Beal got snubbed, straight up. His numbers are better than a lot of the people that are in the East, as far as their numbers, with DeBayo, Sabonis, you name it. Yeah, I mean, whenever we ever had somebody averaging was 29 points a game, not in the All-Star game.
You name it.
But Devin Booker, that's an arguable snub if you ask me. I don't think it's a straight-up snub because, to be honest, there are a lot of people in the West who really do deserve to be an All-Star, so he just didn't make the cut this time because his team is 20 and 28. And if they're going off win percentages, there's no way in hell Trae Young should be in the All-Star game because Trae Young is only at points are only up a little bit above Bradley Beal's, and his team is the worst out of him, Bradley, and Devin Booker's. Like record-wise, his team is 13 and 36. While Washington Wizards are 16 and 31, and Phoenix Suns are 20 and 28. I think Trae Young. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be an All-Star, but I think Bradley Beal deserves to be one before a couple other people that are in the East. Middleton and a couple other people in the East. Middleton, DeBayo, Sabonis. I think Bradley Beal should have got it over them. I mean, his team may not be winning, but if having like a winning record is part of the All-Star process, they got to go just straight out and say that instead of deciding it. Because there's no way Atlanta Hawks should have Trae Young in there then.
It's weird to me that they put such an emphasis on a team accomplishment when it's an individual talent game. So it's kind of weird to me that contrary to belief, I do not have an issue with any one of these guys being on the All-Star game. My position is firm. My position stands. I don't want to sit here and be like, Chris Middleton, you shouldn't be on the All-Star team because Bradley Beal needs to be. I don't want to do that because it's not like Chris Middleton isn't an All-Star level player or Bradley Beal is not or Bam Adebayo, Sabonis aren't like that. It's just I want to have things as far as Trae Young goes. I feel like it's just backwards though. Like you said, it's kind of backwards how Trae Young is in the game. The Atlanta Hawks are like second to last in the East, or like 13
and 36.
Yeah, 13 and 36. And Bradley Beal is not in the game. He's averaging almost 29 points and 6.5 assists. Trae Young is averaging. It's really popularity contest if you ask me. It's popularity contest around here. That's what that is. Because Trae Young is one of the most exciting players in the NBA. That's really what it is. And the Washington Wizards don't get talked about. Bradley Beal doesn't have a very flashy type of game going on. I think it's a popularity contest. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that's probably what it is.
I can agree that it's somewhat based off popularity. Like, there's no way LeBron James and Steph Curry aren't going to be in the All-Star game as long as the rate play. But do you really think that, as far as the East or West, do you really think that DeBayo or Sabonis are more popular than Bradley Beal?
No, but those are front court players. You see what I'm saying? They do it based off. They do it off positional requirements. They don't do it off of like who deserves to be in the game over this person. They just do it based off of, so we need front court players, so we add Adebayo and Sabonis. If it were just straight up like, okay, we don't care who's on our team, we just want the best players, Bradley Beal would have been on here. But
okay, well, I don't. If you ask me, Devin Booker, that's arguable. I was gonna say Devin Booker is more popular than Donovan, but that's give or take. Right,
I would say some of it is popularity contest. Like I feel like Jason Tatum, and I love Jason Tatum's game. He's got such a very advanced like scoring game, but and I literally just said I don't want to pick and choose between players. But
might as well do. We already
if I'm being honest, if the one that I would say I think Jaylen Brown deserved that All-Star vote over Jason Tatum. I love both of them. They're both going to be absolutely fantastic players, and they haven't even hit their prime yet. And they're the third place team in the East. I read an article today, just before we came on the show, that said that Jason Tatum. If they would have put Jaylen Brown in the game, then the Celtics would have had too many All-Stars in the game for a team that's in third place in the East. And to me, that's just stupid because if Jaylen Brown deserves to be in the game, you put him in the game. It's not about, oh, they would have had to. That's how you know that's literally the definition of politics in an All-Star game. It's literally the definition of politics in an All-Star game. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's just if Jaylen Brown deserves to be in the game, and I'm going to repeat his stats for like the 500,000th time. 20 points a game, 49% from the floor shooting, 39% from three, averaging almost 7 rebounds a night. That to me, the way he's played for Boston this year, he's been incredible. Now, has he done post fadeaways, and has he stepped back on people, and has he dropped people off? Not exactly, but this is about play. This is about productivity on the basketball court, and Jaylen Brown's been great this year. Is there any player from the East that you should have thought should have been in? Because I have four. I have three from the East that should have been in.
Besides Bradley Beal, the only other player I think in the East that really could have got it. And if we're going on popularity, I mean not popularity, just straight. That boy balled out when he needed to. Is my boy Spencer Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie, I gotta get a pair of Kairos.
I think Dinwiddie can really play, and I think that he really stepped up when Kyrie Irving was out. So I really think he deserves a spot.
For context behind that, when Kyrie Irving was out, which was for a total time of 26 games, Spencer Dinwiddie averaged 25 points and 7 assists a game.
Yeah,
it's all-star numbers. Literally, that's the definition of all-star numbers right there. I felt like Brad Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jaylen Brown, those guys should have been in the All-Star team. And when I say expanding the All-Star game, I don't want them to expand it to fucking football rosters. We don't need 53 players on the All-Star team. But I think that in certain instances, especially this year, when there's so much backlash behind the way the All-Star team was picked this year, and they felt as though Devin Booker and Bradley Beal should have been in, can the NBA please expand the rosters to just 15 players? Like on 2K, when you're making an association, when you're making a team, the max amount of players you can have on a roster is 15. Normally teams have 12 or 13, but maximum, if you want to have a certain player, you can have 15. I don't see a problem with having and expanding the rosters to 15 players. That way, Brad Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Jaylen Brown all get in. Yay, amazing. We're not all disappointed with the All-Star voting exactly. And then Devin Booker gets in when he deserves to get in.
As much as I think that could work, I mean, it's not like the NBA is going to listen to like this podcast and change that. And I don't want to like start giving out pity awards to people who I think should make it.
But it's not pity though. You know
but
what
I mean, if that's the case, why not the other year give James Harden and Russell Westbrook MVP?
No, I'm not saying that. But an All-Star game? It's an All-Star game.
That matters in the end though. Like when you look at when you stacking up at the end of career, like let's say you stack up Trace McGrady and Penny Hardaway. You look at their All-Star selections, all team selections, right. And I just think that the All-Star game, it has to mean a little something.
But I think it does. It's just like, but you got to think about it. If a certain guy, like, do you think Dame Lillard should have been in the All-Star game when he got snubbed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then, been in the game,
there you go. Well, then
I think if you got to pick.
That's it.
If they're picking with their 12 people, I think they really got to say, like, boom, this guy or this guy. And you got to give decent reasons for who should be and why.
And another reason I don't like it is because it's off somebody's opinion. And these people they call themselves experts and insiders, but based off the way they be picking some of these All-Star teams, based off some of the way they pick some of these other awards, I don't know if exactly I would call them that. If one guy is an All-Star and another guy is an All-Star, it just makes complete sense to me for them to just put both of them in the All-Star game. Because just like how you say when they're looking at credentials for the All-Star game, you could fuck up somebody's credentials when they really were a savage-ass player. I mean, look at what Damian Lillard has done since, CJ McCollum was out. You seen what he did against the Lakers. He had 48 points. Dude's clearly been one for like the past, since he's gotten into the NBA.
That's fair, and I'll give you that much. But at the same time, I need there to be a little more heat behind it, I need to feel the sauce behind each player. So if they are gonna, I think, and for preference-wise, I would rather, everybody wants to see a one-on-one tournament in general in the All-Star break. I think the players that are at the bottom of the selection should have to play for the slot.
That would be...
I'd like to watch Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Trae Young, Chris Middleton one-on-one.
They would
play king of the court.
That'd be some Roman Empire shit right there. When it comes to that, 50-50 on it. I definitely want to see a king of the court though. I want to see that. I want to see king of the court.
I think before we get away from the All-Star snub thing, I think Devin Booker the last year has been acting real light skin out here, just bitching about everything, dude. Y'all double team, get the fuck away from me. Well, the All-Star game isn't what I used to believe it was when I was a kid. Then why are you complaining about not getting in if it's not what you used to think it was? Just leave it alone then. Just be happy with your team. Just be happy with your team and with your maybe all-team selection.
I think he just wants to. I think just like anybody else, he wants to be a part of something where, especially because here's what I will say about All-Star game and basketball in general. You do a big disservice to the game of basketball when numbers are the only way we judge players. That's if that's the only way we're gonna do it, then we're kind of doing a big disservice to the complexities and the discipline and the detail that's involved in basketball. So I want people to look more at the actual games and determine like the actual film on a player. And I'm not talking about them little 1-minute clips or 10-second clips that you find on Twitter of somebody dunking or shooting a fadeaway shot or dropping somebody off with a step back. Everybody, if you're gonna comment on this stuff, like how we comment on this stuff, or how anybody comments on this stuff, it's probably best that you watch the games and recognize maybe what Devin Booker is, or Bradley Beal, matter of fact, since Devin Booker is a little bit less on the fun side of things. Bradley Beal. If you watch Bradley Beal play and you notice his skills and you know how good he actually is, you know that even though his numbers are fantastic, 100% great, you just realize how great of a skill set he has and how great of a talent he really is. And if you're looking at all these players, you would notice Bradley Beal has a little bit more ability, a little bit more talent than some of these players on here. And I think they should evaluate players more on that than just a team accomplishment and wins or a number.
I mean, it's just, my point was that it seemed like Devin Booker was acting super childish about the whole thing. Like,
oh, as far as Devin Booker,
like if I didn't make the basketball team, and then I was like, fuck everybody in the basketball team, they're all gay and they suck hella dick. Like, no, I'm not doing all that, dude. You didn't make the team and you have a problem with it, that's fine. But then don't go expecting to be an all-star next year because you talk shit about everything that was about the whole all-star game and the event itself.
D-Book has his but I mean maybe they asked him a question and he tried to make a point really about it. You know what I'm saying? He was just making a point, I think.
It was just like some salty, like, Kyrie type stuff to do. Like,
shit.
Like try to backslap somebody on your way out. Or try, like, come on, man, just leave it alone. Like, you didn't make the team, that's fine. You can say you're upset about it. But don't, like, talk shit about all the All-Stars in the selection. Like, oh, I get that's not what it was when I was a kid watching it. Like, dude.
I wonder what he meant by that, though.
Hey, he better.
You think you know what? Because I don't want to read into his mind. I don't really know what he meant by that.
I just think that was just his way of not straight out calling the selection bullshit before, like, but doing it in a nice way.
All-Star game, damn near, y'all starting to turn into the Grammys for me. Y'all starting to get ridiculous with this bullshit. It really got out of hand one year and I don't want to disrespect dude at all, because he was a fantastic player in his time. But remember when Roy Hibbert made the All-Star team?
Yeah,
he wasn't even averaging. I don't think he was averaging even 10 rebounds.
No.
Like, bro, like that's really what I'm talking about. And Roy Hibbert is an excellent player. I don't think he doesn't play in the league anymore, but excellent player during his time when he was healthy. But
well, I think it was because Indiana was first in the East.
That's what I'm talking about, though. But if this is a game about individual talent, this is a game about putting the best players, not the best players on their individual teams, but the best players in general together, then we can't do that. We can't do that. There has to be something different in terms of criteria. That's why I say you guys got to watch these games, man. Watch these players play.
I mean, do I think they messed up the All-Star election? Yeah, I feel like they could have maybe made a couple better decisions, but there's always next year. I don't understand why Devin Booker's being a little bitch about it.
I mean, D-Book is 23 years old. He's gonna get into an All-Star game at some point in his career. But it's just like, I mean, these last 2 years.
Are you evaluating your whole career based off an All-Star selection?
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's what he's probably looking at, just what we do every day, or like not what we do, but ESPN and FS1 does. They evaluate you.
But he's out there. He knows what it's like to play in the atmosphere. He knows that his team has been tanking for the past 3 years. So
that's because the Phoenix Suns GM, has a rock brain. That motherfucker has about the brain the size of a pebble, and maybe like another fruity pebble in there somewhere.
I think Devin Booker just seems like the salty type of person. I mean, gets double teamed, loses the ball, but stop double teaming me. Doesn't make the All-Star team. Fuck the All-Star team. It's not what I thought it was. Like, that just seems like some salty stuff.
I don't want to get too much into that one-on-one shit, but as far as the All-Star game, I feel like they need to change criteria. It's about the best players on the floor out there. And it's not about, like I said, you're doing a big disservice to the game when you're only trying to bring up numbers or win-loss record. Like, if it's an All-Star game, right? Meaning individuals, best players together. Why the hell are we taking so much into account win-loss record, which involves an entire team full of individuals and a coach and an organization? That literally that doesn't make too much sense to me.
I mean, Well, I see what you're saying. I personally think I'd be fine if they kept the current criteria as long as you tell everybody, hey, this is the criteria. This is what it takes to get into the All-Star game.
But then some people wouldn't be able to. Then there's no chance for Devin Booker a lot of times to get in because he can average 33, and the Suns are still going to be maybe above 500, maybe.
Put him on your back. Take it to the
No.
Hey, if Russ can take his team to the playoffs.
That's a different team.
That's a
but
different
roster.
I'm saying, but it's possible. Give him a couple years, let him grow up a little bit. I think he can take that team to the playoffs.
If they grow up, if they grow up and they get better for sure. But you got to remember, what was it? The Thunder were in the Eastern Conference Western Conference Finals. They lose Kevin Durant, but you still have that roster intact. You know what I'm saying? And that's the team that he has. So I'm not saying Russell Westbrook didn't go Superman mode.
I mean,
he absolutely
didn't
did.
just lose Kevin Durant. They lost Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka. They lost Anthony Morrow. They had lost a lot of shooters. They lost more than just Kevin Durant. They lost Reggie Jackson.
They still had most of that team in. They had a lot of that team intact. Like they had a lot of it intact for them going forward. Devin Booker is dealing with lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick after veteran that's just trying to get on the team. Like that
seems like a conversation you need to have with the front office stuff. Like maybe I'm done taking dog. Maybe I want to win games now.
I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. Like Phoenix's front office is filled with a bunch of Fruity Pebble sized motherfuckers. Like they don't know what they're talking about half the time. And for Bradley Beal's case, John Wall is hurt. They don't have like a true big man out there on the floor. They're literally playing with three guards and Ish Smith, Isaiah Thomas, and Bradley Beal most of the time. And they don't play much defense. I don't think win-loss record he should be penalized for that. It's about what the individual can do out there. Because it's the All-Star game. Now, if we're talking about who won more rings, I don't think Devin Booker and Bradley Beal can have a say in that argument or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to ability actually out there on the basketball court and the skills that you bring out there on the floor, they not only need to be acknowledged, they need to be put in there.
I mean, I think there were some, but I think that needs to be like a whole like revamp of the All-Star game.
Hey, look.
And that's between Adam Silver and his thing. Right now he's got enough on display with Kobe, jersey retirement, NBA like having changing the logo and all that. So I think All-Star game can wait. If it's not that big of a deal to me.
Are they gonna? No, they're not. They said they're probably not. I don't think they're not gonna do that. Change the logo though.
I mean, it's had like 3 million votes in 3 days. So
that's gonna be something special. That's gonna be something very special.
I just think
hashtag Kobe forever.
You ask me, D-Book, stop being a little bitch. If you want to come defend yourself, you're welcome to come on the podcast. You can
call my God, this is like the.
I think you need to stop like bitching about it, dude. Like you didn't make the All-Star team. Pick up your strap. Go show us what you're gonna do next game about not making the All-Star team. Show them why. Show us why you're not an All-Star. Pull Agent Zero
or Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
I think Dame Lillard, once he got snubbed, he dropped 51 on the Warriors. So,
but I mean that's the kind of attitude that I have about it. Not like it just seems like everything you do, like commentary wise, is so whiny. Like, don't double team me. I can't. I don't have handles like that. I'm not athletic.
Oh God.
Or like, put me on the All-Star team. You know what? Fuck the All-Star team. They're not cool anyway. Like, it just seems like that's the kind of attitude you come with.
As far as the pickup game, it's more of a whiny thing. But I think the All-Star game, he has a little bit of a point.
I just think he should have worded what he said better because it seems like it's really disrespectful to everybody who did make the All-Star team.
He could have worded that better. I'll give him that. He could have worded that
now,
better.
Is he wrong for being upset for not making the team? No, I think he has a reasonable. It's reasonable for him to be slightly upset about it. You know, but at the same time, I mean, is that what you're looking forward to all season, the All-Star game?
And that's what I do want to point out. Every person that's on the East, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Sabonis, Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons. Congratulations, they all deserve to be in the All-Star game. West reserves, Westbrook, Dame Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic, Chris Paul, and Brandon Ingram all deserve to be on the Western All-Star team. I don't want to dispute that. One thing I do, all I'm saying is evaluate the games differently. Either you do that or you expand the rosters to just 15 players. It doesn't have to be a whole, I don't want a hockey team out there. I don't want a football team out there. I don't want a soccer team out there. Just a few more spots because sometimes you have Hall of Fame level players, like a guy like Dame Lillard who gets snubbed and it doesn't make any sense. That's all I'm saying.
You want to listen to Jelani's rules? That's what you do.
I'm telling you.
I'm so fair. That's what you want to. You want to listen. You want to listen to me?
Is Dame Lillard a Hall of Fame player?
Right now, no.
Are you? Ooh.
No. Derrick Rose is barely a Hall of Fame player, and he has an MVP. Yeah.
He does, but he hasn't done as much as Dame Lillard has in his career.
What has Dame Lillard done? Like as far as accomplishment wise,
Dame Lillard is consistently an All-Star every year. He leads that team in the Western Conference to a top seed in the Portland Trailblazers, and they don't have as much. And you got to remember, Another thing that's consistent. You guys got to remember, this isn't just the 70s. This isn't the 60s. There's not 12 teams in the NBA anymore. The last few years, every one of these teams in the West has battled the greatest team ever assembled or close to that. So it's not as if they're supposed to average 50 on the Golden State Warriors and be able to do that. There's limits to this shit. There has to be an understanding of this shit. And there has to be a little bit of compassion to this. Dame Lillard has done a lot in his career. He's done a lot.
I think he needs to lead the league in scoring, get MVP, get to win the Western Conference.
How is he going to win MVP when he's an MVP caliber player, but they want to give to other guys just based off popularity? That's all that. That's what it is.
The last 3 years, he hasn't played better than any of the MVP candidates.
James Harden has been robbed. I can say to you, James Harden's been robbed of 2 or 3 MVPs.
I know, but see
what I'm saying? Like
he hasn't even been in the conversation. Like the last 5 years, he hasn't been in the top 5 MVP voting.
But remember who the conversation is based around. It's based around a bunch of people who we're saying right now don't know what they're talking about.
I didn't say they don't know what they're talking about. I'm just saying he doesn't.
Oh, I know. I'm saying that they don't know what they're talking about.
He has to do something individually. He has to finish in the top 3 MVP voting like Paul George did. He has to make an All NBA team first team. He has to win MVP or something like that, or be a scoring leader. Right now, as far as that goes, the only thing he's done is made the All-Star team.
Vlade Divac is in the Hall of Fame. Why can't Dame Lillard be in the Hall of Fame?
I'm not saying he can't, but if the argument is Derrick Rose, the other day I asked you if Derrick Rose making all and I thought he should be a Hall of Fame player, and you were like, I don't know about that. And
but he has won MVP and hasn't been to the All-Star game ever since, of course, because of injuries. But Dame Lillard over that time period has been on a tear. Ever since then, he's averaged at least 25 points and 6 assists every night for a top team in the West. I don't think and like I said, there's some dudes in the Hall of Fame that ain't Dame Lillard. Like, they no offense, they not. Though.
That's just how skill progresses, though. I don't think DeMar DeRozan is a Hall of Fame player, but DeMar DeRozan has been leading his team in scoring, and he was the All-Star every year before this year.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with the DeMar DeRozan or Dame Lillard. Nothing at all. There just has to be a different evaluation for these players. There has to be a different evaluation for these.
But ungrabbable heights right now, because Trae Young is doing shit that Steph Curry has still yet to do with 9.2 assists per game.
And think about it. They're the worst team in the East, or one of them. It's all circumstantial. That's what I'm saying. It can't be about.
I think he needs more in him. I think he needs to. He needs to reach for the stars. Dame Lillard. I think he needs to.
Dame Lillard
get a first team, which I think he's on track for first team this year as far as point guards go. I think he either needs to lead the league in scoring one year, which most likely will get him an MVP because more than not, the person who gets the scoring title wins MVP. And then or if he doesn't do those, he has to get to the finals.
Dame Dollar, I'm gonna need you to average 45 just so you can get in the Hall of Fame. Apparently, that's what
because James Harden will not stop shooting.
That's what's. I mean, he's done his, and that's the other thing about it too. You've seen the way he's gone off now that the ball is directly in his hands. I don't have CJ McCollum to worry about. Rodney Hood's been hurt. He towards Achilles, but now that you see what Dame Lillard is fully capable of doing, doesn't he look like a player that's like, oh shit, like.
He looks like a first team player, but I'm not going to call MVP.
Oh man, if this dude was like this, if he had been like this without a CJ McCollum, do you know what type of numbers he? Oh my god!
If he could do this for the whole season, we'll find out.
Nobody knows, but I'm guessing 30.
I think if Steph Curry is playing right now, he's not first team.
If Steph Curry is playing,
I think if Steph Curry,
he was first team 1 year, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was first team. Dame Lillard.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was first team in 2017, 2018.
Over who?
Over Westbrook, Curry, Kyrie.
You gotta be kidding me. There's no way he was over Chris Paul, Kyrie, Dame Lillard.
He played great that year.
I'm gonna check it later.
He played great. I promise. He made first team that year. He made first team for point guard that year. I remember correctly because he was on a fucking tear. And if I remember correctly, the Portland Trailblazers were the 3rd seed in that. Look that up because
I'm gonna hit the stats. I'm gonna have my guys look it up.
I think that's his only first team selection. I will say that. I won't say that he got first team any other year, but I'm like 95% sure dude was first team. First team in 2017, 2018. Promise that. As far as is there anything else anything else you want to add to the conversation?
As far as Damian Lillard?
No, because we literally got onto a Dame Lillard debate right there, but about the All-Star game. All-Star voting, All-Star game.
I like what they're doing with the whole Kobe fourth quarter thing. I think it's interesting. It'll give Kobe a little bit of shine, and they're going to do a tribute for him. I think it was kind of obviously it's not LeBron's fault, but I think it looked kind of lame for LeBron to get that speech and then go lose.
Oh, come on. Damn, I mean, Dame Lillard put up 48. I mean, he was tough.
Just
on
Dame
that.
Lillard though. Y'all had to stop one man, and y'all.
I mean, the rest of the team played. I think CJ McCollum had 19, and I think, damn it, I'm missing somebody. Who's old dude on? Anyway, somebody else. They played great as a team. They played great as a team. They played great as a team. Let's see.
I'm just sorry. We're taking a look at the stats.
Yeah, wait. I want to see his first team. I want to see
It
it.
would be a first team.
Okay, he had that one. He had the one in 2017, 2018, and the biggest thing as far as the players for me, I love the Kobe tribute too. It's gonna be It's gonna be really competitive, I think, with this format in place. Yeah, I think I said everything that I need to say as far as
the All-Star game.
I think I said everything.
I think that's about it. I think Dwight Howard is a Hall of Fame player before Dame Lillard.
Hey, cool, fine, but everybody knows he was playing in a different era.
If Dame Lillard keeps with this play for a couple of years, then yeah, we'll see. But as of right now, like if Dame Lillard just died right now, he's not a Hall of Fame player. If you ask me,
Man,
well, not died, but retired.
I ain't finna play with that. Man.
I don't see.
They have to base it more on what's going on with these players from a tape perspective.
Like a 3-game season, like a 3-season breakout. I don't see it.
3 seasons? No, Dame Lillard been on it since.
But he's never been top 3 or top 5 in the MVP voting.
But that literally has to do with people that don't know what they talking
every other
about.
MVP before this, like last year, Paul George, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden all had to deal with the same thing.
What, that?
With the politics of people who don't know what they're talking about, they still got the MVP voting.
Somewhat, but I mean, if you ask me, Dame Lillard should. I mean, that's fine, okay. But Dame Lillard should be in all. And y'all they almost like using previous years against him to stop him from being more in the MVP conversation. Because if you're consistently, in the East it's hard too. The East is a very difficult conference. Well, it's a difficult conference to play in. But everybody knows how hard the Western Conference is. There's legit like 6 teams that can take out each other.
Yeah.
And they're consistently, and it's not all him. CJ McCollum's done an incredible job. He's a hooper. Nurkic, all those guys. But if Dame Lillard's a top player on a top team in the West every single year, then there has to be more talk about him. There has to be more talk about how good he is as a player.
I just think there are times where he's lacking. And it's like there was a time at the beginning of the season when we were looking at the Trailblazers and we were like, Carmelo Anthony obviously isn't the best player on the team, but he looks like the best player on the Trailblazers. There were times last year where CJ McCollum looked like the best Trailblazer. Obviously, Dame was better, but
Paul George looked like the best player compared to Russell Westbrook. Like it's for everybody. That's not just a thing. It's a thing.
He just doesn't do it like he plays at a consistent level, but the level is not high enough for Hall of Fame to me.
Man,
I mean, look who's getting in the Hall of Fame next year. It's like Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and all. Like, is he a Kevin Garnett level player? No.
How do you know that? They play 2 different positions.
Because they have. Look at what they've done.
See,
right now.
You doing it again. That's who did he just? He was playing with Rondo, Paul Pierce,
I'm
and
not
Ray
talking
Allen.
about wins. I'm talking about like defensive player of the year, first defensive team, of things that like.
All stuff that doesn't all accomplishments that are based off people with an opinion that can be wrong from time to time.
That's the word you gotta
done
live in,
of course. I mean, Dame Lillard, sure, but are you gonna really base it on Kevin Garnett?
I'm
power forward who was 6'11"
I'm not
and played in the
basing on it, but I'm just looking at
That's what you're doing.
Who's getting the Hall of Fame next year?
And you literally say, out of all people, Kevin Garnett. Out of all the goddamn people, one of the best big men to ever play.
I'm just looking at next year.
Dakota, that makes no sense. How are you going to compare Dame Lillard, who hasn't even finished his career yet, a point guard at 6'2", to 6'11" Kevin Garnett, who played in a different era and was on and has a different style of play? You can't. Because that's not cool.
I'm saying that he led in certain statistical categories. He was a rebound leader. He was a defensive player of the year.
But is that so by your standard, everybody's got to be Kevin Garnett to get into the Hall of Fame?
No, but if he did one of these one time, if he was an all defensive team one time,
Steph Curry's never going to get an all defensive team.
No, but he was a scoring leader.
Russell Westbrook has not gotten an all defensive.
He was a scoring leader.
Who's a scoring leader?
Yeah, both of them.
Okay, so
they led in statistical categories.
Okay, so what's the difference between 27 and 28 points? Nothing.
Whoever's in front, that's the difference. That's
what's the difference between 9 rebounds and 10 rebounds? Is it really that big of a deal that somebody can't get in the Hall of Fame?
If your team loses by 20,
no, because Russell. All right, cool. We could talk about losing the accomplishments. Dame Lillard hit the biggest shot of last year on the Oklahoma City Thunder,
and he continued
to do that. And he continues to do that every single year. And he ain't just a clutch player. He dropped 50.
He's one of the clutchest players, and he can really ball. I'm not gonna lie to you. But
all right, then what we sitting here talking about?
No MVPs, no scoring leaders. He hasn't led the league in steals.
Bro, so everybody who gets into the Hall of Fame has to be an MVP.
Not necessarily MVP, but they have to be like They have to be a rebound leader or a steal leader, or defensive player or something. They have to lead in something, dude.
No.
His resume is so bland. Besides
not.
All-Star team, first NBA team, and then assist leader. Not assist leader, but
he doesn't have to do these little shiny accomplishments. Some of those guys were stat padding.
Some of them were
stat padding. So what is
he
it?
He can do it for a season. Because otherwise, he doesn't. He'll just go in and out of the NBA like a Clyde Drexler, somebody who never really won.
Clyde Drexler's a Hall of Famer.
He is.
Okay, what are we? No.
You want me to compare Clyde Drexler to Dame Lillard, though?
Clyde Drexler's. Dame Lillard's career hasn't even ended. Is the dude even 30 yet?
I'm saying right now, though. I do not see Dame Lillard as being a Hall of Famer.
So can you pull back up Clyde Drexler or somebody else's stats from when they were Dame Lillard's age and tell me what they were doing? Because Clyde Drexler didn't have any championships on him before he went to Houston.
And he
didn't lead the league in scoring. And he didn't lead the league in rebounding. He didn't lead the league in steals. He didn't lead the league in blocks. None of that stuff. He's a Hall of Fame level player, though, right?
But did he get in the Hall of Fame before he won a championship? No.
He was going to get in the Hall of Fame, though.
You can't say that, though.
He was going to get in the Hall of Fame with his numbers. That's
like if I was take away Jordan's 6th championship, was he going to get in the Hall of Fame? That's like you taking away his But
that's what I'm saying. You guys have to challenge not so much numbers because they're circumstantial. Like I said, teams and numbers are circumstantial. You have to go based off what you're looking at in the player's ability out there on the basketball court.
If you ask me his ability is it's not
It's
better.
amazing.
It's amazing, but he's not. What he does isn't special compared to who he's playing with, whoever other point guards in the position. He's not doing what he does better than Steph Curry.
He dropped 60 twice this year.
That's cool. James Harden did it like 4 times.
And James Harden's considered one of the best offensive players to ever play, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
He's not at that level. If you ask me, he is not at that level.
Oh my god.
He is playing with an elite set of point guards, and he is not. He doesn't do what he does. Isn't
They're
special.
playing on different teams, and
That's
to be
fine.
honest,
but I'm talking about individual accomplishments.
What?
MVP is an individual accomplishment. Defensive player of the year, that's an individual accomplishment.
But why do you have to win? Well, I'm saying, why do you have to win an MVP to be considered a Hall of Famer?
I'm not saying just MVP though. I'm listing out other things.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then Dame Lillard doesn't have to live up to these little expectations that you're talking about, where he has to win an MVP. Where he has to win an MVP, or he has to do this, he has to do that. He is one of the best point guards the game has ever seen. Period. That's it. That's the end of the story.
I don't know about that.
That's the end of the story.
Okay, if Dame Lillard retires right now, what has he done? Rookie of the year and first team once? An All-Star game?
He's been an All-Star mostly every year.
So Chris Middleton's an All-Star. Is Chris Middleton a Hall of Fame player right now?
But he's not Chris Middleton, and you know that.
That's what you're saying.
Your comparing skills are they're off today. Like they're really bad. Is he Chris Middleton?
No.
Is Dame Lillard Chris Middleton?
No.
All right. So what are we doing here?
The All-Star is not enough. Like look at who was on the All-Star game like 2 years ago. You just said Roy Hibbert played an All-Star game.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you're exacting the same mentality that I don't like.
I'm sorry then, dog.
Because you're looking at numbers and you're not looking at how he actually does it or what he does for his team.
Does it at
Clearly,
a high level.
Chris Middleton is not Dame Lillard.
And I told you if he does it till that, like if he does this for like 3 or 4 more years, then fine. But right now, I do not see him as a Hall of Fame player.
And he's outplayed Russell Westbrook the last 2 years.
The last 2 years,
Outplayed, Brody, the last 2 years.
Look at who he has on his team, though.
Who?
Look, he has Paul George on his team. CJ
McCollum. Talking about Russell Westbrook? What's wrong with Paul George?
There's nothing wrong with Paul George, but that's somebody who has to give the ball up to.
Dame Lillard has to share the bball too.
CJ McCollum?
Dame Lillard has to share the ball too. Or are you really going to disrespect CJ McCollum?
I'm not
like
disrespecting
that? No, you are disrespecting CJ McCollum like that.
Stack Paul George and stack CJ McCollum.
But stop comparing people. He has to do different things in a different offense with a different system.
That's fine.
You're not taking into account complexities. You're just running stats by
without a doubt. Dame Lillard has the ball at the end of every game if he wants it,
and he hits shots.
And that's
big
fine
all the time.
I'm not saying I've
dropped
said before
40, dropped 50, dropped 60.
I'm just saying right now he don't got it from me. If it's up to me MVP wise, I don't see Dame bringing it in.
He doesn't have to be an MVP to be a Hall of Famer or an All-Star level player.
He doesn't have to be an MVP.
He doesn't. And honestly, he's an MVP.
Monumental.
He's an MVP caliber player.
He's got to me. If you ask me, he has to do something monumental.
What does he have to do?
Something monumental. Put your name somewhere in the stat books besides just 26.
Stop going off stats and go off what he does on the basketball court. We're supposed to be better than stats.
What has he done on the basketball court?
He's done plenty of different things, and you're talking about the West.
I see the West, but look at every other high point guard in the West.
Oh, Russell Westbrook's getting past the Warriors?
No,
did Russell Westbrook in the Oklahoma City get past Portland?
How many years has Russell Westbrook led the league in assists?
That's
cool.
That's very nice. But in terms of success,
Russell Westbrook's been to the finals
with Kevin Durant on the team. Did Dame Lillard ever have Kevin Durant on his team?
No.
So you got to go by circumstances, and you got to go by play system, and you got to go by different things that guys are dealing with on the basketball court.
A stat machine, Russell Westbrook, to somebody who has good stats, but they're not a stat machine.
They're not good stats. They're great stats.
Russell Westbrook has averaged a triple double.
They're not good stats. They're great stats.
They're great stats, but they're not.
And you've seen what Dame Lillard. You've seen what Dame Lillard has done with the autonomy that Russell Westbrook had. You've seen the 40-point games. You've seen the 60-point games. You've seen 30-point triple-doubles.
Yeah.
So if you know that for a fact, then you have to understand what a player can actually do and be able to test that with your eyes instead of just saying, you're learning me a stat that says...
I'm not eye-testing somebody into the Hall of Fame, though.
You have... Come on, bro, because that's better than that.
Somebody into the
Come
Hall of
on,
Fame.
that. You gotta know, bro. You gotta know that for a fact, because if Dame Lillard was playing the same autonomy, the same self-sufficiency, the same type of responsibilities that Russell Westbrook was playing with, you'd see his numbers explode. But because he has different players on his team and a different coach and a different system that has something different in place, you can't do that.
Would he be Chris Paul?
Okay, so nobody knows that, but you do know for a fact that his numbers finna jump, don't you?
They are finna jump, but I don't see.
And he's averaging 25 points to 27 a night.
I don't see anybody besides somebody with a Russell Westbrook mentality passing James Harden scoring.
Is Dame Lillard not a killer? Is Dame Lillard not going to put up shots?
But he's not somebody who's going to come and shoot the ball 14 times in a row down the court.
Well, if that's his responsibility, if that's what he has to do, I don't know if Russell Westbrook necessarily wants to do that all the time, but because he understood that all the guys on here can't do exactly what I can do after Kevin Durant left, then he was like, okay, different. I got to shoot the ball. If Dame Lillard had that in him, or if he had that in him, if that was more of his responsibility, you'd see different things on the basketball court.
Right now,
you'd see different things.
I don't see it.
You probably see, what does this thing say, 34, 38? You probably see him average somewhere around there, and then you'd be like, eye-popping numbers. He's amazing, this, that, or the third. But because he's in a different situation.
And even if he would have to do that for a season. If he could average 34 to 38 for a season, somewhere up there, then I'd be like, hey, you're an MVP Hall of Fame type player.
There are some players who don't get the same opportunity.
But all I'm saying is he's a future Hall of Famer. But if right now, I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Famer. There are a lot of people right now that don't think Steph Curry and his career right now is in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they're stupid.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're right, but I'm saying that right now, Damian Lillard has not done enough for me personally to put him in the Hall of Fame.
We gotta debate some more people on this. We gotta debate some more players on this show for this one. We gotta debate some more players on this show.
I just don't see it from him.
Okay. All-star voting. That's about it for me. That's about it. We turned that into Dame Lillard Hall of Fame credentials. That wasn't what we were supposed to be going for. But I think, I said everything that I want to say. Congratulations to all the East and West reserves and starters.
I think everybody who got in definitely deserves to be in. Do I think there's some people that deserve it a little more? Yes, but we'll see about that. I think there's nothing we can do about that now.
Yeah, nothing we can do about that one. Just the Casuals Insight. This is the first, well, it's not the first episode. This is actually technically the 14th episode, but we're changing the title, so it's the first episode of Just the Casuals Insight.
I'm going to go back and change all the titles, so don't you guys worry about it.
Just the Casuals Insight, Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell.
We will be back.
We'll see you guys next time for episode 15. We
still got another segment, right?
Oh, shit. What's the next segment?
I thought we just went down the list of podcast ideas.
Oh yeah,
shit.
That's possible.
I mean, if we are done, we have to plug Twitter, YouTube, and all that.
Oh yeah, okay. I gotta plug the Twitter and YouTube and all that different stuff. For people who do watch and for people that are new to this, we are on Twitter. I have to go back on Twitter now and change that shit too. So
do you want to stop the All-Star segment and then come back on with the other segment?
Yeah, because we gonna have to. I have to literally change a bunch of stuff around from social media now. So. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you guys. Stay tuned. We're gonna plug all our social medias and whatever other hoopla we got going. We are back on Just the Casuals Insight. I am Jelani Smith.
I'm Dakota Mitchell.
And we decided not to just plug the social medias just yet. I want to play a little game here that's inspired by NBA TV and TNT a little bit that I thought would be kind of interesting for us to play. We are kind of basketball experts a little bit, and we base ourselves on that a little bit. So I thought we'd play a fun game, a little who he played for. It's obviously two players. If anybody who's ever played who he played for, the point is you're not supposed to be like, who did Michael Jordan play for? Or, stuff like that. You're supposed to be naming very low-key players, guys who are not very well known in the league, and you're trying to figure out if that person knows their basketball for real.
Don't hype it up too much. Definitely gonna fuck up now.
So, should I go first or should you go first?
I'll go first.
Ah, shit. Okay.
All right. Who does Frank Kaminsky play for?
Frank Kaminsky? Frank Kaminsky. I feel like I'm gonna get this wrong anyway, but the last time I remember, it's Charlotte.
No, he plays in the Phoenix Suns.
Fuck.
He's in the Phoenix Suns.
Oh yeah, he does. Wow. I'm not making myself look too good as an analyst right now. Okay, what's the next one? Fuck. Okay.
Darius Miller.
Ooh. I'm gonna get this one wrong too. Oh no! I think I know. He played for the Pelicans. He doesn't play for the Pelicans anymore. Did he play for the Knicks?
No. He still plays for the Pelicans.
Why?
I was used to Pelicans. I was scratching my head. I was like, oh shit.
Ah, Darius Miller for Kentucky. I thought he was been cut by now. Fuck it. All right, I gotta stomp you with these two ones then. Okay, Darius Miller and Frank Kaminsky. I'm gonna have to write that down somewhere. Matter of fact, hold on a second, guys, because I gotta go somewhere with this one. This is unfair. Frank Kaminsky plays for Phoenix. If he's not playing for Phoenix next year, then I'm gonna be mighty pissed. He better be playing for Phoenix next year. Darius Miller plays for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I really thought so. There must be some sort of Darius or a Miller, Mike Miller must be on the Knicks somewhere. Okay, you're not gonna get these. This one's funny too because he's actually kind of known.
32 teams, so I gotta pretty added like a chance.
Who does Chandler Parsons play for?
Chandler Parsons plays for the Grizzlies.
Nah, I'll give you one more guess though.
Chandler Parsons. It's not. He's a big dude. He's not fun to guard. I'm gonna Mavericks.
No, he plays for the Atlanta Hawks right now. He's not playing. I think he's hurt, but
that's not even. All
right. The next one. This guy's actually playing right now. He plays.
Right.
He plays.
Consider it a done deal then.
Okay, Damian Lee. Who you play for?
I'm gonna say he plays for Phoenix Suns.
One more guess.
Charlotte Hornets.
Nah, he played for Golden State.
Yeah.
Damian Lee, Chandler Parsons, Frank Kaminsky, Darius Miller. I wanted to see how that would work out in the experiment a little bit. I didn't know that. You know, I was gonna bring up a player from like another fucking country or something like that. I swear to God, I was going to, but I'm like, why would I?
I was about to name Terrence Ross, but he plays overseas right now.
Terrence Ross don't play overseas.
He does.
Bro, play for the Magic.
No, not right now.
Terrence Ross,
like the one that used to play for the Rockets. He's not playing.
Oh, you talking about Terrence Jones?
Oh yeah, Terrence Jones.
I'm like, Terrence Ross just changed his number for the Magic. I'm like, you talking about bro that got into a fight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fucked up. That was mighty fucked up. Anyway, hope he's doing well in China. That was who he played for. I wanted to see how that. I wanted to see if we knew any, because I consider myself kind of an insider on basketball.
Like complete like no-name players. Like
that's what it is.
You went like last pick in the draft players. I was giving you like Frank Kaminsky and fucking Darius Miller.
Hey, Damian Lee be getting good minutes from the Golden State Warriors.
Nah,
he be playing a little bit. And Chandler Parsons, I honestly, that Chandler Parsons one was for you not to get. So
yeah,
I didn't even know Chandler Parsons.
Frank Kaminsky was a giveaway. I was like, Frank Kaminsky. He's not huge, but he's out there.
Bro, I thought that he was playing for Charlotte still. I didn't remember that he was playing for Phoenix because I don't even see him play for Phoenix that often. And Darius Miller, he's been on the Pelicans since like 2K13, so I figured they'd have to have cut him fucking now.
He's just sitting there.
Jeez. Well, anyway, guys, just a casuals insight. Like I said, we're going to be changing the title. But it's not going to be anything too serious. If you want to check us out on YouTube, go subscribe to us right now. You can literally right now it's Sideline Saturdays. So, especially for the previous episodes, those will not be changed, right?
No,
or will that be changed? Oh, you're changing all of them?
I don't want to just say like just the casuals insight.
All right, we'll say Jelani Smith, 36 subscribers to it. Jelani Smith. You should be able to spell Smith. Everybody should be able to spell Smith. We are on Twitter, and we're going to be changing that as well to just a casuals insight. So we're going to be changing some things around a little bit. No more Sideline Saturdays, just a casuals insight. That will be all the social media platforms. If you want to check us out, obviously on Anchor, please check us out on Anchor. Enjoy the podcast. Give a thumbs up to the podcast, by the way. It's nice to know that we're acknowledged.
In the comment section, if you have any topics you want brought up or
please,
anything us to talk about. Give the heads up.
If anybody wants to bring in, if anybody wants to come on here, like personally, and debate with us front and center, going ahead, we can come in and
we do call-ins too. So
call-ins too. We do call-ins as well. Spotify, go check us out on Spotify. Whenever you're listening to your music, it'd be great to listen to a podcast, an informal podcast. By the way, we educate motherfuckers around here, so check us out on there.
Let us know in the comment section whether you think Dame Lillards a Hall of Famer or not right now.
Please,
if he retires right now, not will he be, but if he retires right now, let us know.
Please, because I really want to know the answer to that question.
We'll leave it up to the people.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of Dame Lillard hate in here, and it's unwarranted for him. But it is what it is. Anything else?
That's it.
Oh, also, should they expand the All-Star votes? I mean, All-Star game. Should they expand the All-Star game? Do you agree with me, or do you say with Dakota and continue at 12 players on the roster? Check us out on all the platforms. Apple Music, y'all some bitches. I probably shouldn't have said that, but that's okay. Just the Casuals inside. Jelani Smith, Dakota Mitchell. Stay tuned for episode. Is this 14? Oh, 15. Damn,
Yeah.
I almost fucked up. I was about to say episode 14.
Nah, this is 14 right now.
Yeah, okay, we're on episode 14 right now. I'm really losing it. Episode 15 is coming up next. It's going to be a really great show, guys. A lot more debates, a lot more different creative segments coming on. We're going to be turning up the heat a little bit. The juice is going to get juicier. Stay with us. We're out.